Everybody, Chad Taylor with Vegas Podcast. And today I have a very special guest. Again, all of my guests are special, but this one's extremely special. Her name is Gloria Kritzler. Welcome.
Thank you.
So first off, you're here on the Vegas Podcast, number one, and there's a reason for that. But number two, before we even get started with number one, who's Gloria? Where's Gloria from?
Well, I'm originally from California. Grew up in San Gabriel, which is close to Pasadena. Got married and moved to Cleveland, Ohio. And you're saying, why Cleveland, Ohio? For those of you who are my age, you're going to say the reason we moved to Cleveland was we had just had our family and we thought Cleveland was a great place to raise a family. It was kind of a Leave It to Beaver town. Remember Leave It to Beaver?
Yes.
Yeah. So we moved there, lasted about 11 years. We ended up moving to Las Vegas. My husband said, we had enough with the snow, and we just decided, well, you know what? He said, I'm going back to California. And I said, I don't want to go back to California.
Pasadena.
No, at that time, we were living in Newport Beach.
In Newport, okay.
Yeah, so I said, nope, I don't want to go back. So he said, okay, Arizona or Las Vegas. I said, you choose. And he got a job in Las Vegas, and we moved here. So I've been here for almost 30 years.
Almost 30 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time in Las Vegas.
It is. It's either a love town or a hate town, and I love it. You know?
Yeah, a lot of people I talk to, and then there's a 7-year cycle. I tell everybody, I've been here for 28 years, and every 7 years you see a new cycle of people come and go. They come out to think, maybe potentially my dreams come true. Vegas is a city of potential and possibility, and every 7 years you lose them. You're like, where'd they go? They moved away. Oh, they're coming back to visit. They're calling.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Very nice. So California to Cleveland to Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. You're in the hospitality business, which is one of the reasons you're on the show. Vegas is about hospitality. Right. There's a lot to Vegas. There's the hospitality side of it, which is what makes us tick, and then there's the local side of it. Give me a little bit about how you got into hospitality or where you started or what those roots were or what made you love it, because you're obviously here doing it still because you love it.
I've always loved sales. When I was like 19 years old, I decided to get a job as a car salesperson during the time of gas shortage. And I ended up selling Chevys. The big boats. So that didn't last. And so I went back to my second passion, which was computers, and I ended up being a programmer. But I was like, as a programmer, it's not, working with the public. It's not talking to the people. And I loved that. So I ended up going into a travel agency, and I ended up running a travel agency.
In Cleveland?
In Cleveland. Okay. And then, so when we moved here, I thought, okay, well, I'll try to find a job as a travel agent, do something. And my husband opened up the paper and he saw there was a position, and I ended up, my first job was with Casino Travel and Tours.
CT&T.
Yes. And I worked with Dr. Elias Ghanem, who was my mentor here in Las Vegas. Okay. He was he always said, be a small fish in a big sea, or be a big fish in a small sea. And I got to work with Steve Wynn. I got to work with Stupak. I got to work with, because these are the people that he knew. And so he would always contact me to take care of these people when it came to travel and all of that. So that was pretty exciting. That was exciting.
You just told me a mind blower.
I know. So I'll tell you one story, which is really funny. So when I first came to Cleveland, I thought, and again, I'm dating myself, so sorry, guys.
There's no dating in this world. Age is irrelevant anymore.
Right. So I came here to Vegas, and I started working for Dr. Ghanem, and we were doing all kinds of stuff and whatever. And so I went down the strip, and it was early in the morning. I put my hand on the car seat, and I'm driving down, sunroof on, and I'm thinking, I'm Dan Tanner. Remember Dan Tanner from the show Vegas?
I was going to say, I just saw a picture, I pictured a line out of Casino.
Right. So the manager who I had, she said to me, do you know who Dr. Ghanem is? I was like, I have no clue. So, no, I didn't go to my iPhone. I didn't Google it. I had to go to the library. Right. And so I researched on him. They called me up and they said, hey, Gloria, we have all your stuff for, come and pick up all the articles on Dr. Ghanem. So I said, okay, because I want to know who he was. Here I'm working for this man. And so that day they called me. They said, Gloria, Dr. Ghanem wants to see you right now. Be here in 30 minutes. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, he's mafioso.
Yeah. Well, we were talking Vegas.
He found out I was researching on him. It was so funny. I mean, my foot was shaking like no other because I thought, oh my God, what's going on? He was actually calling me to give me a promotion and make me and put me into management.
Because as humans, we always think the worst possible instead of the best possible for some reason.
That was so funny. You know, he had all the managers, the supervisors, and he promoted everybody to managers. And he was telling us, but it was so funny because I really thought, oh my God, that was the scariest moment I had in Vegas.
That's fantastic. Yeah. That's actually a great one.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, this town, it's known as the mob town. It was run by the mob for a long time, and then business came in and I think kind of ran corporations and kind of ran some of the mob out. And I would say maybe essentially some different style operations run these days, but all of it for the most part is fantastic. Like Vegas is running pretty well. From what I see, everybody's doing a really good job. So, you know, the transition that's gone from old vintage Vegas into new Vegas, there's some new life here, and I think that there's going to be a cyclical nature maybe where we go back to some of the old days. I feel like there's going to be a turn of events that happens, and we got to kind of follow that path back a little bit. Yeah,
it kind of always revolves back to something. Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're selling cars, then you're doing computers, then you work for Dr. Ghanem. Then what? After that was CT&T?
CT&T, Casino Travel and Tours, and I worked for them for a long time. I still stayed in the hospitality business, so I kind of started my own little business, and I worked for the Skywalk, at the Grand Canyon West Skywalk, so I used to fly every day to work.
Oh, that would be fun.
I know. It was fun for a while. And then I used to drive there. We used to have a company Hummer, so we used to drive out to Grand Canyon West every day and come back. So I worked there for a few years.
And what is that drive? How long?
It was 2.5 hours. At that time, they still had the gravel road.
What was your last position before where you're currently at?
Virgin Holidays.
Okay, that's what I remember. So when we first met, we met over the phone when you were with Virgin.
That's right, because you were a supplier of ours. I was the regional manager, so I took care of all of California, so San Francisco, Los Angeles. I had New York. I ended up taking care of the whole USA region except for Florida.
Okay, awesome. So you're a Virgin. So I got some backstory. I know a little bit about you now.
You do?
Yes. And you love hospitality.
Love hospitality. Love making people feel good.
And you do very well at it. So tell me now, where did you land and where are you now?
So now I work for John Power at 5-Star Helicpters.
Correct.
And one day was right after COVID. John gave me a call. I've known him for many years.
Right.
And he called me up and he asked me what I was doing and if I was interested to come and work for his company.
And you said yes.
I said yes, because the Powers are nice people.
Yes, they are, actually. I have a story about John from pre-COVID, but he made, I think he had 3 sentences that he said just when COVID started. And on that phone call with him, in those 3 sentences, he actually changed the direction of my life. And I've never shared that with him yet, but he is salt of the earth. Good guy. Even if you're in competition with him, the way I see him treat people and other helicopter companies and the way he talks about other people, he really is a quality person. Period. So lucky you for being there. So you're at 5-Star. Tell me a little bit about 5-Star. What is 5-Star? Who is 5-Star? And let's just start. What's your main line of business?
So working with 5-Star. So I have been on the other side of the desk. Okay. So I've always been the seller. I've always been out there promoting trying to get the customer to, I've been the broker, basically.
Right.
And I've always sold all the companies. So when I started working for 5-Star, which was really interesting, I really enjoy the company because they're not that large, but they're big enough, but still small. And that's the way John has always said, I want to get big enough, but I want to stay small, but I want to get big enough, if that makes sense.
It's humble. Yeah.
Yes. So it was interesting because I love the helicopter business. I always did. And so when he offered me the position, I thought it was exciting. It was exhilarating,
And so far, has it been?
It has. It has. If anybody's in the helicopter or any business in tourism, that every day is a new day, Yeah. And it's fun.
When you get to deal with people, I think Prince said it best. You get to deal with people at their best.
Yes.
When they're the happiest and at their best. So it's only up to you to ruin it for them.
Right.
Right? Like, they're going to have a great time. So there's no reason for you not to deliver exceptional service because they're already accepting of it.
Right.
You're not trying to change something. So
right. And that's what you want to do, and when you get somebody who, whatever the reason is, you want to turn it around. There's always, the whole time that I've been in the business, because I had desks all over the Strip, I dealt with limousine companies. We ran a limousine company.
CT&T had
yes, that's
40
right.
car license.
Yeah, I was the first one. I got the license to help them get the license. I helped them. We grew that business. When I first started with that company, we had about 50 employees. When I left, we had 150.
Wow.
Which is really cool. I feel like that's my triumph. That's one of the things that I did here in Vegas, which made me,
put you where you are.
Opened the doors for a lot for me. So that was pretty exciting.
And you got to work with everybody. That was kind of cool too.
It was. It was. I mean, I got to work with GMs. I got to work with, everybody on the Strip, which was exciting.
And that knowledge and that credibility is not something easily gained in this town. It is a small town.
Yes.
And when you work in the industry long enough, you get to know a lot of people. And having that credibility and that knowledge is powerful. And there's a whole new generation, and there's softwares, and there's ways to get things done these days. But there's still the nostalgia for me of all the information that has traveled through the city for the last 40, 50, 60 years. Those people are still here running it too, which is a beautiful thing. And they're teaching the next generation.
Yeah.
So 5-Star Helicpters has been in business for how many years?
So they've been in business since 2012.
2012.
Yeah. John started with one helicopter.
Yep.
And I got to give him a lot of kudos. He started with one helicopters. We are up to 10 helicopters now.
That was going to be my next question.
Yes.
10 helicopters.
10 helicopters.
All of them fly from here in Las Vegas on the Strip?
Yes. Well, yes, we do have a location in Zion as well.
Oh, we need to talk about that a little bit. Okay, so let's get to the Strip stuff first. So you have 10
combined. Strip with here in Las Vegas and Zion combination, we have 10.
10. Okay, between both. Perfect.
Yes.
So on the Strip, what would you say you guys are most famous for as 5-Star? Or what do you like to be known for?
Knock on wood. Where's wood?
Yeah, it's right in front of you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. I'm happy to say that we have a 100% safety record, which is a lot. It's a lot to say.
Huge.
We've been in business since 2012. So being in business that long and having 100% safety record is great.
Wow.
So for me, that's very, very important. We are one of the 3 major helicopter companies that survived after COVID. That's incredible.
It really is.
It really is, because look how many companies had to close down. And all the challenges that we've been having with all the events that go on in Vegas and everything that we have to deal with. I, have to give this company a lot of kudos for that.
Yeah, you end up where you're supposed to be if you do the right thing. And I think that's one of those things about back to how John operates.
Exactly.
You end up in the right place if you're doing the right things.
Exactly.
All right, so 10 birds on the Strip.
Yes.
12 years.
12 years. We are now located right off the Strip, right in front of
Mandalay Bay.
Mandalay Bay, Four Seasons, right around that area. So that is really great. We have our air-only tours, which I mean, everybody has always told me our air-only tours are one of the best tours out there.
What does air-only mean?
That means that we fly out 90 minutes round trip and come back to Las Vegas.
You land nowhere.
We land nowhere.
Got
but
it.
we have one of the best tours that are out there as far as air tours.
Got it. So let's say your top. So if you're known for anything, number one is safety record, right? Let's repeat that. That's fantastic. I mean, anybody that's been living in the United States for the last 5 years understands that that's a very important piece. So 5-Star is extremely safe. Secondly, you have enough birds sitting here on the Strip that you can get people out, and you have a Grand Canyon tour.
Right. And I wouldn't say secondly on the birds. I would say second one is our Grand Canyon tours, because we do go to the Grand. Yes, we do go to the Grand Canyon. And we do also have our Valley of Fire tour, which is one of my favorite tours. So we get to fly out to Grand Canyon. Okay. We have an extended air tour that goes there, and then we land at Valley of Fire. We have champagne, and we just enjoy the view and everything that's going on. It's just beautiful.
So you fly over Lake Mead and Hoover Dam.
We fly over Hoover Dam when we go out there.
To the Grand Canyon.
So you make sure you get to see Hoover Dam. And then when we come back, we fly over Lake Mead.
Over Lake Mead, so you'd be going over like Temple Bar, Echo Bay to the Valley of Fire.
Exactly.
And you get to land in the Valley of Fire?
And then we get to land in the Valley of Fire. It's one of my favorite tours.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
I mean,
beautiful.
if anybody has ever, who's not seen Valley of Fire, I don't even like to describe the tour, because The sea of red is just amazing. See it from the top and see it from the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. So the strip tour, so for a guest coming into town, they can jump on one of your helicopters and they can do a strip tour.
Yep.
They can do a Grand Canyon tour, air only.
For many years, one of the things that 5-Star does do is we do land in the Grand Canyon, but we land on top.
Right.
And that is really exciting. For the customers, because they get a cultural experience. Remember, I worked at the Skywalk. So knowing how Grand Canyon West is and the Hualapai Tribe, I know exactly what they're going to experience. So I think it's an ideal tour for them because they actually get to be on top. And they've already flown through the canyon. Now they're landing on top. Right. They get the experience of the Hualapai Tribe, the culture that's behind it, and then they get to actually go on the Skywalk if they choose to.
That's a good point. That's a good differentiator and a separator, and very, very well said.
Yes.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. So air only. Then Valley of Fire, you do land, though.
Grand Canyon, Valley of Fire, which is one of my favorite tours.
Now let's talk about something new that you guys have been doing. I saw a video come out with Helicpters and Southern Utah and Razors or Broncos or something hauling through the desert with a helicopter above it. What's going on up there?
So I'm really excited to say that we have Zion Helicpters, which is out there.
Okay. This is another brand outside of 5-Star Helicopters.
It's another brand out of 5-Star, but it's still part of 5-Star. And we now have adventure tours. So we have tubing, we have zip lining, we have all those type of adventures that we're going to be adding to our itinerary out there.
If there was 2 or 3 things that customers say that they know 5-Star Helicopters for, or that your feedback that you get online, right? I read a lot of reviews. What are 2 or 3 things that guests say about you that you're not selling yourself, but guests say back to you, and then you go, okay, that makes sense?
I think one of the things that I really like to hear from our guests is that they say we're really friendly. Okay. The pilot was really nice. The check-in staff did a great job. The driver, was, funny or friendly or just nice. I think those are the things that when I hear those in the reviews that we get to hear, that is top-notch.
So it's the human element.
Yes.
No matter how tech-savvy the world gets, no matter what happens, it always comes back to how we treat each other as humans.
Yes, exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. If there was anything that anybody needed to know that's coming to Las Vegas soon, or that locals need to know that maybe we don't know yet, maybe you can or can't say something. If you can't, don't say it. But is there something we should know about?
For anybody who's coming in, we always try to make the coming holidays kind of fun. Like, for example, Halloween is coming up. So we have we dress up the hangar. We make sure everybody's coming in, having a great time. We have an internal contest with all our employees, so everybody gets into the mode and they start dressing up, and they have a lot of fun doing that. So I think that that's really important, to just kind of, spoof it up, spook it up.
Spook it up. I like that, for sure.
Spook it up. The other thing is Valentine's Day. We always do a special Valentine's package. Right. And we, if you want to take your sweetheart out to dinner, because we have a dinner package as well. Yes. And if you want to take your sweetheart out to dinner and then come and do a helicopter ride, we'll be happy to give a box of chocolates and some rose and just kind of seal the deal at the end of the night.
I have a statement and a question. So I believe that Helicpters, by numbers, is probably the #1 taken tour in Las Vegas. Right? For tour, because I'm pretty sure we both know all the tour companies in town.
Sure.
Right? But passenger-wise, you guys probably produce, between the 3 large companies in town, probably produce more tours than any other individual tour in the city. Would you agree?
I would have to say yes.
Yeah, that happens, right? Mm-hmm. So most people who are coming to Las Vegas are typically going to get on a helicopter flight.
They are. Yeah. They are, because either they want to enjoy the night flight tour or go to the Grand Canyon, and they don't want to spend hours on a bus.
Right. And do you pick up to and from the hotels?
Absolutely.
All right, so you got
all the hotels. We don't center them. We pick up at your hotel on the Strip.
If I'm staying at the Venetian, I'll pick up at the Venetian.
Yes.
Caesar's. You're not doing the consolidated pickup locations where there's 2 or 3. Good for you.
That's a 5-star way.
Yeah, no, I love it. That's fantastic. So transportation to and from. And then, like you said, you do a lot of combo tours with a lot of the other outfitters around in the outdoor recreation space.
Yes.
Which is
fantastic.
fantastic.
I think that's really important because we're supporting each other.
Yes.
So we're bringing that business and giving them the ultimate like opportunity for that passenger. You know, they never thought of it. Oh, you know, I didn't think about that. Yeah, let's combine it. I'll go on a rafting tour. And at the same time, do the helicopter so you get that experience all in one.
And pre-COVID, the combo tours with the rafting, the Hoover Dam Rafting, and the helicopters in total was very successful. Very successful. And then it flowed a different direction, and it looks like it's starting to come back now, so that's a good thing too. So one, what's next for the company? Is there anything, like, what's the future look like for 5-star helicopters in Las Vegas? Is it slow and steady? Is it 100,000 helicopters?
Well, I like to say, you know, I can't give away a lot of secrets.
Fair enough.
There you go. I can't give,
okay,
but I
no
will
secrets.
tell you.
You're here to stay.
We're here to stay.
Okay.
And I do see our fleet moving a little bit on the wider, you know.
Fair enough. Got
a
that.
little more fleet that we have coming in. So
Fantastic.
big surprises in the future. So I'm very excited.
All right. Fantastic. And then I may have mentioned this earlier, but if there was anyone you could meet or anything you could do in this town and the rest of this year, let's say as a time frame, what would that be?
All right. So I would, in hindsight, I wish I would have done things differently. I've been here for almost 30 years. You know how that goes, right?
Yeah.
All right. But if I had the opportunity to really meet and sit down in an interview with some of the iconic people that really built this city, I think that would be like a real dream for me. You know, to sit there and just listen to them.
Give me a name of somebody's around that you would love to sit down.
Kirk Kerkorian, I think he was amazing.
Kirk Kerkorian.
I really thought he was amazing. He came from nothing.
Okay.
And he made himself into everything big. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. And now one more thing. Ross.
Yes.
Are you available?
Yes.
There was a gentleman or a young man that posted on one of our first podcast postings.
Jaybird Vegas.
Jaybird Vegas. I went and watched a couple of his videos. You deal with your social at your property?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're familiar with how negative things can get sometimes, especially in the social media world?
Yes.
Ross and Ash are very familiar with it. They understand that very well. This young man came on, I believe, and was said the kindest things I've ever seen. Just kind. So I thought to myself, something's wrong. What's going on here? Whoa, okay. So I went and watched a few of his videos. He seems to be trying to get a podcast off the ground or doing some things. And his name's Jaybird?
Jaybird Vegas. Yeah.
Jaybird Vegas. And I talked to John a little bit about this. I want to put him up in a helicopter. Can we put him up in a helicopter for just being a good human? Can we do a night flight for him?
Absolutely.
Okay. I don't know if it'd be him and his dad or just him, but I think that kindness deserves kindness.
Absolutely.
And although it was very small, I took notice of it immediately. And I don't know if it's just because we're new and there's not a ton of comments, but I came across it, I read it, and all I could think about is what can I do for him? Because no one is just that kind of people anymore. And that kindness deserves kindness.
You know what? That absolutely.
Okay.
No problem whatsoever.
Okay. That's the 5-star way.
That's the 5-star way.
That's what I'm talking about. All right. So we will let him know.
My favorite tours are, one, the Grand Canyon Valley of Fire. I think it's an amazing tour. I love that tour. Two, I would say the landing tour that we do up on top because of the cultural experience that I mentioned before. And three, our night flight tours because it gives everybody the experience. If they've never been on a helicopter, it's economically easy for them to purchase, and they get to go on the strip. They get to see the strip from above as well as, going downstairs. And if they've never been on a helicopter, as I mentioned before, this is a great experience for them. When people are nervous about getting on the helicopter, we tell them, don't worry about it. You're going to be okay. Because, safety is, first of all, great safety, 100%. But second of all, there's more accidents on the ground than it is up in the air. So everybody knows that. So the odds for you are really, really good, okay? Really, really good, so.
And to that, when it comes to talking about jumping up in a helicopter, I have a mentor of mine, actually, a very, very good man from Texas, and he flies planes, and he comes into Vegas, and we were having a conversation, and I said, really, aren't you afraid to be up there flying around? And he says, listen, I would rather fly than drive any day. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, because up there, I'm with professionals.
Yeah.
Down here, you may not be.
You got Uber drivers.
And I thought, right. Yeah. Uber and Lyft. I mean, the Uber and Lyft drivers can be challenging.
Yeah.
But that's what he said is like, I'm with professionals up there. Right. Everybody knows what they're doing. And that hit me. I thought, wow. Yeah, that's real. Mm-hmm. So that's good. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming. I thank you very much. All right, everybody. And that's Vegas Podcast. And do not forget, I got to put on my begging face. No, or my just puppy face. Please like, subscribe, and follow. I'm telling you, as a marketing person in the world in which we live today, subscriptions are one of the hardest. I mean, somebody really has to want to follow your content. So when you press that subscribe button, those of us looking for those subscriptions, we recognize it and we will engage because we know what you're doing. So we appreciate you. Like, subscribe, share, follow.
If you take a 5-star helicopter, leave me a good review.
I appreciate it.